Take a deep breath. Let this moment sink into your heart. You didn't get here by accident. You didn't just scroll your way into this message. It wasn't a random click or an algorithm, it was me. This very second was carefully written by heaven. While you hesitated, unsure whether to keep going or stop here, my spirit was already present, waiting for your heart to open. I know the road you've walked to reach this place. I saw the times your eyes closed from sheer exhaustion and you whispered, "I can't go on." I saw your heart quietly hurting while you wore a smile for everyone else. I was there, closer than your racing thoughts, nearer than the weight pressing on your chest. You've been asking for an answer. You've pleaded for a clear sign. And now, here I am. It's me. I'm the one who shifted everything so that this very message would meet you now, not before, not later, but in this exact moment, because your time has come. You need to understand this. It wasn't your strength that brought you here. It was my hand, guiding you even when you didn't know it. Even when you felt abandoned, even when you thought I was silent, I was shielding you through storms you didn't see coming. I closed doors you begged to enter, because they held traps that would have stolen your purpose. I removed people you wanted to keep, because they weren't meant to go where I'm leading you. What you called loss, I called freedom. What felt like rejection was really protection. What looked like being forgotten was actually me keeping you close. Now listen deeply. You are standing in the very minute that everything begins to shift. Heaven and earth are lining up to activate something inside you that I placed there before your first breath. This is not just a message. This is a turning point. Yes. Long before your body took shape in your mother's womb, I had already dreamed of this exact moment, the very second when your heart would truly hear me, when your spirit would open wide, when clarity would begin to rise like the morning light. That strange heaviness you've been feeling lately, as if something big was about to happen, as if time was running fast, as if the world around you was shifting rapidly, it's not your imagination. It's a sign. It's my spirit awakening you to the truth that something unseen has already started moving. What you thought was anxiety was your spirit picking up the shaking of heaven. What you called emotional tiredness was actually me holding back the chaos, preserving your strength for what is beginning now. Every step, every emotion, every quiet moment from the past weeks has been leading you to this point because I already knew. I knew you would be here. And I also knew what had to be cleared, calmed, and removed inside you so that you could hear my voice without confusion. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never built to blend in. Even when you tried to follow the crowd, something in you always stayed separate. Even when you gave your best to be accepted, people still looked at you as different. That wasn't rejection, it was my mark. You were set apart, sealed, and chosen. I've brought you to this place to remind you of that truth, to shake you awake, to say clearly, line your life, stand up, take your place. The time is now. Right now. Don't push it off. Don't explain it away. Don't water down what you feel inside. It's real. It's eternal. It's divine. I've entered your space not just to visit but to stay. Not just to stir emotion but to start purpose. Not just to comfort, but to send. This moment is not just about receiving a word, it's about being called by it. You're not just hearing words, you're being transformed by them. The old season has ended. The cycle that kept repeating is over. Everything you faced until now has shaped you, but from this point forward, you will walk in what I've written for you since the beginning. This isn't about emotion, it's about purpose. These aren't just nice phrases, they are divine alignment. This isn't chance, it's a calling. And now that you've felt it, now that your spirit has awakened, don't go back. Don't close your eyes again. Don't retreat in fear, because it was I who called you, and it is I who holds your freedom. Acknowledge this moment, this minute was planned by heaven. It holds the tone, the timing, and the truth of your call. Do not ignore it. Don't wait for another sign. Respond now with faith, with boldness, as someone who knows this isn't a random message but a divine appointment. You're still wondering how you got here, but I'm telling you, I guided every silence, every detour, every pause. I didn't just allow this message to find you, I led you here. I reached your heart even while you battled distractions. I whispered through the noise. I stepped in when your thoughts were unsettled, and when your heart softened, I entered. I didn't need a formal invite. I didn't wait for you to open the door because I hold the key. I have the key to your soul, to your purpose, to the doors you thought would never open. You've called it chance, a strange coincidence, but what you feel now is real presence. I didn't come for a moment, I came to stay. What I'm doing in you now isn't surface level. It's not emotional. It's not fleeting. It's deep. It's permanent. It's a shift from the inside out. That growing restlessness you felt, that emptiness even in crowded places, that sudden awareness that nothing satisfies anymore, it's not confusion. It's my presence taking over the inner places of your being. Don't push it away. Don't try to explain it with logic. Don't try to manage something that is no longer in your control. Let your spirit respond. Let change begin. I step in, and when I step in, nothing stays the same. You've been praying for a touch, for a sign, for a shift, and I have brought more than you asked for. I've come with a breakthrough, a real change, a shaking of comfort so I can place you in what lasts forever. You've often asked me to shape your life around your desires, but today I've come to shape your life around my will. And my way doesn't bend to distractions. My direction doesn't follow human timelines. My voice doesn't wait for approval. I didn't come to make you feel better, I came to wake you up. I didn't show up to soothe your emotions, I came to stir your identity. I didn't speak just to brighten your day, I came to brand you with a word that rewrites your journey. You have stepped into new spiritual ground. What I'm doing inside you now requires your full surrender. It's time to stop dancing with the past. Time to stop delaying what you already know must be given to me. The season for being unsure is over. The season for half-hearted decisions is finished. Heaven has shifted and I entered. You may still feel unprepared, like things are unfinished, but I tell you, what you call getting ready is already becoming delay. What you think disqualifies you, I see as the very place where my glory will shine. I never asked for perfection, I called the willing. And even if you feel weak, if you say yes, I will move through you. I've raised a generation that carries a quiet unrest, people who can't ignore the call even when everything around them feels small. People like you, who carry the ache of eternity in a world chasing emptiness. You've tried to fit into places that never truly made sense, and that's because you were never made to blend in. That's why I've entered to clear out the old ways of thinking, to tear down the walls that tied you to performance and the need for approval. You were made for more, and now is the time to step into it. I have come to clear away the dust of limiting beliefs, to break the false reflections that made you doubt who I created you to be. You are not just being visited, you are being shamed. You are not being watched, you are being shifted. This isn't a casual message. It's a summons. What surrounds you now is more than just feeling, it is a prophetic atmosphere. It's a divine seed activating something deep within your spirit. All of heaven is leaning toward you right now. You thought no one noticed you, but I always saw you. You thought you were overlooked, but I hid you on purpose, to shape you in secret. While you longed for recognition, I longed for depth. You asked for answers, but I was working on your transformation. And now, the moment has come. So I entered. You don't need to understand everything in this moment, you only need to respond. Your doubts don't cancel my call. Your past doesn't erase my seal. Your story doesn't undo what I placed in you. Deep inside, you know it's me. You know because something is stirring right now. You know because my presence is pressing on your heart and clearing your thoughts. This is not emotional hype, it's a spiritual shift. I came to awaken what was sleeping, to spark fire in what had turned cold, to show the light that the world tried to cover. Share this message with others who feel the same pull. Someone who senses something but hasn't yet understood. Someone who prays but hasn't yet heard. Let them know I didn't knock. I entered. You must fully grasp what is happening right now. This isn't driven by emotion, by your own desire, or by a video. What's happening is not created, it's revealed. It was written by heaven. And it is I who now erupt within you. This presence that surrounds you, this unseen warmth that stirs your soul, this sudden clarity rising from within is not random. It was written by me. Long before time began, before space was formed, before anyone formed an opinion of who you are, I had already called you by name and sealed your identity in eternity. That identity is not earned by effort, nor shaped by performance. You spent years trying to prove your value, striving for approval, trying to be strong just to be seen. But I never chose you for your strength or status, I chose you because of what I planted inside you. And what I placed in you cannot be erased, not by the world, not by others, not even by you. Voices tried to shrink you. The world tried to reshape you. Circumstances tried to convince you that what you felt was just imagination. But the seed I placed inside you survived it all. And now, that seed is awakening. Don't try to explain this moment with your mind. This is not something your logic can grasp, it is something your spirit must receive. What I'm stirring in you isn't a new thought. It's a deep truth that's been waiting for the right moment to rise. You're not being invited to something temporary, you're being called into something eternal. This is not about a task, it's about a position. Not about doing, but about carrying. You carry something from heaven, something the world cannot understand, and that's why the fight has been so heavy. That's why the path has felt hard and the tears have fallen without clear reason. Your spirit already knew what was coming. And now, it's here. This isn't about religion, nor just a burst of inspiration. This is prophetic movement, heaven releasing what's been hidden within you for too long. What once felt like a dream far away now feels like a fire inside you. That restlessness, that urgency, that feeling that what was once okay is no longer bearable, that is me. Because when I activate what's eternal in you, there is no returning to what was. The mind will try to step in, it will try to tell you you're just moved by emotion, that maybe it's all too intense, too much. But what's happening right now is not emotional. It is spiritual. You have been chosen to carry my presence not as a passing feeling, but as a foundation. This presence doesn't visit, it governs. It reorders what was misplaced. It drinks what once seemed big. It breaks the chains of what held you. Because when my decree comes, it puts everything back in place. It shines light on the hidden things, even the ones you didn't want to face. I know you feel fear. I know you still look at yourself and see flaws. But I didn't call you based on your view. I called you based on mine. And what I see is someone I shaped, someone I refined, someone I protected for this moment. Even when you didn't feel chosen, I was already calling you. Even in your worst moments, I never turned away. Even when you thought you lost everything, I still saw a future. And now that future begins. This is not just a time to hear, it's a time to answer. This is not just a message, it's a mission. What's being poured into you cannot be fully explained, it must be lived. It must be carried. It must be followed. You don't need to know every detail. You just need to take the first step in faith. Now is the time to stand in your spiritual place, to realize that something holy is being sealed in you. You won't walk anymore as one waiting for a promise, you will walk as one already marked by it. Because the word has been spoken. A shift has happened. You may not understand it all now, but later it will be clear. For now, let your spirit rise. Let your faith speak. I receive. I carry. I'm awakened. Do not treat this moment as ordinary. It is not. It is the beginning of a divine movement in you. Click like on this video and subscribe to the channel right now, not just as a habit, but as a prophetic step. As if saying, I know God is speaking to me, and I will not ignore His voice. Do it not just as a viewer, but as someone who receives a spiritual mark and answers the call. You've learned to wear a smile while your heart was bleeding. You've mastered the words I'm fine, even when everything inside you was falling apart. But I saw you. I saw every time you laid down without strength. I saw every prayer that ended in tears. I saw every moment you wished to disappear, not out of anger, but from deep exhaustion. It didn't go unnoticed when they left you out, when you hoped for comfort and found silence, when you needed closeness and felt distance. Others saw strength, but I saw your hidden pain. They heard your strong voice, but I heard the cry of your heart. You tried to stay strong because you believed weakness would leave you alone, but I didn't come only when you stood tall. I was there while you were falling apart. I leaned into your story during the very moments others overlooked. While the world moved on, I stood still with you. Your private thoughts were heard in heaven. Your unspoken prayers reached my throne. Even when you believed no one saw potential in you, I was watching what no one else could. You felt forgotten, but I was working silently. You asked for a sign, and I was building roots. You wanted quick answers, but I was shaping strong foundations. Your broken heart was sacred ground, and every tear you shed in silence was watering the destiny I planted in you. Now, the destiny is beginning to bloom. The soil once marked by pain will now reveal my power. You thought you were being punished, but I was preparing you. Many called your pain weakness, but I call it strength. Because you didn't give up. You stayed. And now, I move. Even though you were hurt, you stayed. Even though you were let down, you waited. Even though you were broken inside, you kept seeking me. And none of that was ignored. Nothing you walked through was wasted. Every time you surrendered in silence, heaven witnessed it and honored it beyond what eyes could see. Right now, as you hear these words, old cycles are coming to a close, cycles of emotional patterns, inner battles, feelings of being left behind. All the weight borne from pain that was never understood is now coming undone. Because I saw everything. And because I saw it, I stepped in. You didn't go unnoticed, I was hiding you. You didn't fall apart, you were being shaped. What you thought was the end was actually the first page of something much greater. When you felt left behind, you were really being held back for the right time. And now, that time is here. It's not the moment when everything is explained, but the moment when everything starts to make sense. This is the hour when your soul can finally breathe with real hope. The moment you understand that I was never far, that the silence you feared so much was actually my arms wrapped around you. The nights you thought were wasted were nights I spent beside you. While the world slept, I stayed awake listening to your thoughts. When you struggled to breathe, thinking it was anxiety, it was your spirit trying to stay afloat while your heart felt weak. But I was there, and because I was there, you didn't fall apart. You didn't get lost. You're not beyond healing. So now I say, rise. Not because you feel strong, but because you now see clearly. When I see someone, they can no longer ignore their own worth. You will start looking at your life through new eyes, not as a victim, but as a survivor. Not as someone who was forgotten, but as someone who was trained. Your path was never normal, so your purpose will not be either. I shaped you under pressure because I'm sending you to places where few can stand. I allowed you to feel deep pain so that you could understand others who still walk through it. I let you cry in the desert so that, one day, you would know how to speak to those still wandering there. The same comfort that reaches you now will become the comfort you give to others. You will no longer move based on need, but on compassion. You will no longer act out of fear, but through wisdom. Because now you know I saw you. And because I saw you, I called you. Nothing that hurt you was wasted. Everything was used, and now I'm turning it all into something new. You didn't need to understand all that happened. It wasn't about figuring it out. It was about trusting. What you thought would defeat was actually shaping. What looked like abandonment was me refining you. Every tear became a tool in my hands. Each quiet moment with a hammer breaking pride. Every rejection was like a chisel forming your spirit to fit perfectly into the purpose I designed for you. You thought it was punishment, but it was protection. You thought you were forgotten, but I was preparing you. You prayed for growth, and I gave you process. You asked for direction, and I led you through narrow places. Because I knew that only there would your heart remain open to be shaped. Pain hits harder when it comes from those close to you. And yes, I saw it all. I saw who hurt you, who betrayed you, who tried to erase your name. And even then, I allowed it, not because I approved of their actions, but because I turned their cruelty into a part of your building. Their harm became part of your making. They tried to break you, but I rebuilt you stronger. They tried to silence you, but I used it to deepen you. You felt completely alone in the process, but it was me working behind the scenes. I let them walk away because you needed to learn how to walk forward without looking back. I let their words hurt because only then would you begin to hear my voice more clearly. I shut doors that could no longer hold the weight of what I was doing in you. And through it all you grew. You became more tender to my spirit, more alert to my gentle instructions. It became clearer inside. The tears you cried were not wasted. They washed your eyes so you could finally see differently. The long seasons of waiting quieted the inner noise, and now you can truly sense me. What once felt like confusion now sounds like clear direction. What was once fear is now holy respect. What was once doubt has become trust. I trained you from the inside out. While others were watching your steps from the outside, I was shaping your soul in hidden places. Many thought you were standing still, but they never saw how deeply you had to go just to be lifted by my hand. They didn't see the quiet battles. They didn't see your silent choices to stay faithful. They didn't witness the weight it took to move forward when it felt pointless. But I saw it all. And today, I tell you what hurt you the most prepared you the most. You are stronger now. You're softer in spirit, but firmer in purpose. And this growth didn't come from lessons or lectures, it came from my grace meeting you in pain. It was my breath that helped you say, I can't, and still rise. It was my hand that steadied you when your own strength failed. You thought time was being wasted, but you were actually being prepared. You thought you were being forgotten. But I was tuning you like an instrument, fine-tuning you for the exact moment you were created for. And that moment is now. Now you see it, all the parts, all the pain they fit. The pain was never the ending, it was the opening. And you walked through it. Yes, with tears. Yes, with scars. But you made it through. Now walk with a depth that cannot be taught, with a peace that cannot be bought, with a weight of my presence that only the broken who still believed carry. This is why I trust you more, because you know what it feels like to fall, to get back up, to follow me with nothing but faith. Now, what once wounded you will become the way you heal others. What once made you weak is now the very thing I will use as your covering. Because I always use those who weep deeply to bring healing to others. I use those who remain when it's hardest to bring light when others are lost. I lift up those who have been pushed aside to hold close those the world has forgotten. I send the ones who have been wounded to lift others still struggling to rise. And you, yes, you were made ready for this. Don't hide your journey. Don't be ashamed of the pain that shaped you. It was through that very path that I found you, and it is through your story that I will now move. Comment now, type 777. Declare it with bold faith. My pain was not pointless. My waiting was a seed. My losses were the tools that shaped me. They didn't destroy me, they formed me. You looked back at moments that felt like final chapters. The losses cut deep, the closed doors felt like endings, and the silence rang like farewell. But hear me now. It wasn't the end, it was the start. Because while you saw ashes, I saw the ground ready for building. While you saw collapse, I began writing the plan for restoration. You worried you wasted too much time, gone too far and lost too much, suffered things that seemed unfair and useless. But every step, every pause, every fall I was there, writing a better story. Not as punishment, but as alignment. You cried for change, I built roots. You asked for speed, I gave you stillness, so you'd hear me more clearly. If I had pulled you out the moment you begged, it would have broken you. But I love you too much to let that happen. Your story may be marked by pain, by mistakes, by others' neglect, but my hand touched those pages and started rewriting them. I did erase the chapters, I am giving them new meaning. I'm turning your sorrow into good ground for the new. And even when you questioned if there was still something ahead for you, if hope was still real after all the hurt, I say yes. It. And it's closer than you think. While your heart questioned, I was already speaking through my purposeful silence. Because some answers don't come in noise, they grow slowly in waiting. What looked like the final scene was simply a pause before the shift. The point you feared was really just a comma, letting you breathe before the next line. And now, with my own hand, I continue writing the story no one expected, to continue the restoration they said couldn't happen, the answer that seemed late but was being shaped with care. You must understand, there is glory in the hidden process. There is beauty in those quiet days when it felt like nothing was changing, because in those very moments, I was building in places no one could see. I came to strip the old layers from your soul, to erase the curses spoken over you, to break apart the inner walls you once built to survive but which now block the new I am beginning. You are not who you used to be. And that's good, because only with this healed heart can you enter what I've set aside for you. You no longer feel peace where you once settled. You can no longer fake peace in places, relationships, or conversations you used to endure. That's a sign. It's my spirit shouting that the new has already started. Soon, you'll be surprised by what I'm restoring, what I bring back full of new life. Doors that once stayed shut will now open with ease, because the season has shifted. What used to feel like a fight will now feel like favor. What was once delay will now become release. What once made you cry will now be your testimony. Yes, they saw your tears, but now they will see the harvest. Not because of what you did, but because of covenant. Not because you performed, but because of purpose. I don't just comfort, I rebuild. I lift. I breathe new life where even hope was buried. Today, cycles close not just in emotion, but in the spirit. And in the coming days, you'll feel it as if something heavy has finally lifted, as if heaven has opened what was waiting for this very moment. It's true, what was once held back has now been released. Some people won't understand it. Some may question it. Others will simply watch, but none of that changes what I've done. I wrote your story with my own hand, and what I write, no one can erase. One day, you'll look back and remember, I was there in that message, in that moment, in that quiet fire that touched your spirit. And you will say, that's where everything began to change. And yes, it was real. Share this word with someone who's at the edge, someone who thinks the end has come, but is still in the hands of the altar. Share it as someone who understands. God is still writing new beginnings.